So I've given tonight's event a special name, Immortal Youth, a musical tribute to the Báb. And the reason that I've called this program Immortal Youth is because I'm going to conclude the program with a new piece of music, which is a musical arrangement of a recently translated piece of writing by Baha'u'llah that he wrote in honor of the Báb. And this piece is called The Tablet of the Immortal Youth. And it's a beautiful, very poetic, mystical piece of writing that lends itself very well to music. And but I wanted to, I'm going to play this piece at the end of tonight's program. But I wanted to just give you a heads up that it's quite a long piece. And so musically, it becomes a 20-minute song. So just so you know, I thought I might warn you that when we get there, I hope that you can just, consider it as a kind of immersive musical meditation, that you can just, immerse yourselves in the words and sounds of this piece for 20 minutes. But in order to get there, I thought that I would share with you a few other pieces along the way, and in between the pieces that I would share with you a kind of a brief overview of the story of the Báb, this young man whose life and work we are celebrating this year. And so in order to do that and to just sort of lay the ground for this tablet of the immortal youth, which will be later, I want to invite you all to close your eyes and to use your imaginations and to travel with me back in time. We're going to travel about 180 years back in time to the middle of the 19th century, which was this strange period of this worldwide messianic excitement. During this period in the mid-19th century, different movements were being initiated in different parts of the world. People of different traditions, different religions were beginning these kind of peculiar movements, the central idea of which was that the ancient promises of the world's great religions were going to be fulfilled in the 19th century. And of course, we know that all of the world's great religions are just replete with promises of a better future, a time in the future when they shall beat their swords into plowshares and they shall study war no more. And these movements became particularly prominent among Christian communities in the West, and many Christian scholars, through their studies of the Bible, had become convinced that these promises concerning the end of the world and, from the point of view of the Bible, the second coming of Jesus Christ, seemed to be pointing them towards the year 1844. And as these scholars in the West studied their scriptures, they kept finding this year 1844 over and over again. And of course there were people who laughed at this and mocked them and said, why are you getting so upset? This is all just superstitious nonsense. Nothing's going to happen. But some of these people became so convinced by all of this that entire communities of people in America and in Europe upped and left their homes and traveled across the world to the Holy Land, where they settled at the foot of the famous biblical mountain, Mount Carmel in Haifa, to await the return of Jesus Christ. And these people lived there and they waited. And 1844 came and passed, and nothing happened. The stars didn't fall, the mountains didn't crumble, Jesus Christ didn't descend from the heavens, and, well, the world didn't end. The sun rose and the sun set, and this period, which was known quite famously at the time as the Great Awakening of 1844, went down in history as the Great Disappointment. And many of these people moved on, and this was largely forgotten about in the West. But what many of these people of a Western Judeo-Christian background weren't aware of at the time was that at the very same time, an almost exactly parallel experience was taking place a little bit further east in the Muslim world, where Muslim scholars had come to the very similar conclusion that the promises enshrined in the Islamic scriptures concerning the end of the world and the coming of the great promised one foretold in the Quran were pointing towards the exact same year, that year of 1844. And so it was as if these different religions in different parts of the world, unbeknownst to each other, were all actually looking in the same direction towards the same event in the same year. And in the springtime of that year, a youth in Iran who was known to his friends as a very humble, mild-mannered, sweet-natured person, sent a shockwave through the Middle East when he claimed that he was in fact the one that the people of both the East and the West were waiting for. But he told people that they wouldn't find him by looking up to the heavens. They would only find him by looking into their own hearts.